Ernest, my godfather, valued education as well, even though he had almost none in the formal sense. He read all the time and taught himself. He was what they called a rock hound, but he was much more. He was a lapidary as well. His rock shop was full of his jewelry. It was he who taught me about fossils. He knew as much about them as a student of geology in a university would have known. And my dad would stand there and listen because he thought fossils were cool too, and he wanted to learn. Ernest worked in Conoco's oil fields. Eventually, my dad went to work for Conoco too. He began as a groundskeeper in the refinery in Glen Rock, Wyoming. He pulled weeds, killed rattlers, and raked rocks. When he retired, Robert was running 3 of Conoco's petrochemical plants. He worked 18-hour days normally, and on weekends went to the plants to catch up on his paperwork. Robert thought education was important and a way up and out, just as his parents had thought. In a time before smartphones, the men in his plants knew precisely how many minutes it took him to drive home from the plant at the end of the day. When I was in high school, the phone would begin ringing just about the time Daddy should have been home. "I'm sorry, Mr. Pierce is not here yet." "Oh, wait, sir, I see him pulling into the driveway. Do you wish to hold for him?" I would stand there holding the phone, and my dad would come in, look at it, and look like thunder. He would take the call and then turn around, no time to eat, and go back to the plants. Before he left, as he did every day, he would ask, "What did you learn in school today?" Not, "What did you do?" What did you learn? I had to have a list of particulars to tell him. If I tried to blow it off, he would say, "I do not believe you did not learn anything today. You have a fine high school and good teachers. If you did not learn, it is your fault. Now, what did you learn today?" Every day. It was his way of telling me I was more important than Conoco. I am sure Granddad asked his children the same thing. Every day. His name was Charles J. McLean, 1931 to 2015. Charles was my cousin. His mother was one of my dad's little sisters. Charles started teaching in a one-room rural Missouri school at age 16, right out of high school, just as his mother had done, just as Uncle Robert had done. Eventually, Charles had a stellar career in university administration. He founded a college and was for a very long time the president of a university. After that, he served in the position equivalent to chancellor of the Missouri University system. Charles earned his Doctor of Education degree at age 28. I was impressed. I set out to be a college professor, too, and to beat Charles in obtaining my Ph.D. at an earlier age, which I did, though I never fully caught up to his great career. I suspect my aunt asked him what he learned at school every day, too. She was a teacher who had started right out of high school as well, earned a master's degree, and taught all her life. What did you learn in school today? Now I tell my students to ask this of their children or grandchildren and expect an answer. Not, "What did you do?" What did you learn? In 1834, the British amateur paleontologist Thomas Hawkins commented of his studies, "I addressed myself to worm-eaten books and last to fossils." And so has this author. I have done this largely because of these 3 men, James, Robert, and Charles. Granddad Pierce, Daddy, and Charles. Thanks. And thanks again, Ernest. This one's for all of you. Introduction. The Costs of Doing Business. Between 1715 and 1717, a posthumous work dealing with minerals and fossils, written by a former papal physician, Michel Mercati, was published with funding from Pope Clement XI. The book was entitled Metallotheca and detailed the natural history collections of several late 16th century popes. This was a very early instance of governmental, in this case papal, support for paleontology. Not only did the papacy back Mercati's work with fossils, but Clement XI also paid for the publication of Metallotheca. Well over 100 years later,